drugs behind the FTX collapse? The full picture may not be revealed for years, if at all. However, by piecing together eyewitness accounts, news reports, financial statements and testimonials from former employees, we're able to reach a clearer understanding of the culture under which the biggest financial scandal since Bernie Madoff was able to take place. What evidence do we have of drug use? Well, how about Bankman-Fried's own tweets? Look at this one, where he advocates drug taking among his workforce. Stimulants when you wake up, sleeping pills if you need them when you sleep. Even that doesn't really make sense. The phrase, when you sleep, presupposes you're already unconscious, in which case, why would you need sleeping pills? We already know that America has an opioid epidemic, and there's no shortage of deaths resulting from overdosing on sleeping pills, CNS depressants, fentanyl, and other barbiturates. It was also alleged on the Twitter feed at Autism Capital that Samuel Bankman-Fried used a drug called MSAM in patch form. It's a methamphetamine derivative used on label to treat symptoms of Parkinson's disease, and it's known to increase energy. According to CoinDesk, Bankman-Fried was possibly suffering side effects of MSAM, which include compulsive gambling. His former girlfriend Caroline Ellison served as the CEO of Alameda Research, which was the trading firm co-founded by SBF. Alameda reportedly lost billions of dollars through risky trades, which according to the Wall Street Journal allegedly led to customer funds being improperly transferred from FTX to Alameda. Ellison, a huge Harry Potter fan, scoffed at those who did not take drugs back in a 2021 tweet. Nothing like regular amphetamine use to make you appreciate how dumb a lot of normal, non-medicated experience is. They were staying up all night snorting Adderall, smelling like they hadn't showered in a week, is what one person alleged to the Post about the Bahamas crypto conference that Bankman-Fried organized, at which Bill Clinton and Tony Blair made guest appearances. And it's easy enough to understand why Bankman-Fried and his colleagues would use Adderall. The drug induces physical effects such as faster reaction times and fatigue resistance, enabling users to work for longer without needing to take breaks. It also contributes to increased muscle strength, although given SBF's body composition, this is unlikely to have been one of the chief benefits. Larger doses of Adderall can impair cognitive control, cause rapid muscle breakdown, provoke panic attacks, or induce a psychosis in the form of paranoia, delusions, and hallucinations.
What are those for?
Huh? Oh, it's just this stupid thing. I have to take a pill every 6 hours or I feel funny. No big deal.
What's it called?
Advanced delusionary schizophrenia with involuntary narcissistic rage.
Recreational dosages of amphetamines are generally much larger than those prescribed therapeutic dosages, and they carry a far greater risk, therefore, of serious adverse events. But believe it or not, Caroline Ellison wouldn't be the first mathematician to extol the virtues of ceaseless amphetamine usage. Paul Erdos is one of the most prolific and successful mathematicians in human history. He took amphetamines throughout his early career. A gentleman named Ron Graham bet him $500 that he couldn't stop taking the drugs for a month. Erdos won the bet, but complained that during his abstinence, mathematics itself had been set back by a month. Before, when I looked at a piece of blank paper, my mind was filled with ideas, he said. Now all I see is a blank piece of paper. After he won the bet, he promptly resumed his amphetamine usage. He actually began taking them daily at age 58 when a doctor prescribed them to him to allay the depression associated with his mother's death, and he didn't stop taking those until his own death at age 83. The continuing use of amphetamines by the military remains as controversial as it is likely to continue. Meanwhile, amphetamines are said to have long been a traditional drug of choice within US professional baseball. Some say that amphetamine use is more widespread than steroid use because this is a sport in which players are ground down by playing 162 games over 183 days during the regular season, with constant travel and all-night flights leaving many participants weary. According to many reports, there was an active polyamorous culture among the 10 roommates who lived in the Bahamas resort where SBF was based. According to a report by CoinDesk, all 10 are, or used to be, it said, paired up in romantic relationships with each other. Caroline Ellison, of course, had specific ideas on how free love should be conducted. Here's a quote from her. "When I first started my foray into poly, I assume by poly she's referring to polyamorous relationships. She could be referring to polycystic ovary syndrome. In either case, case, the only child she would have would be her mustache. Anyway, let's listen to her quote. She says, "When I first started my foray into poly, I thought of it as a radical break from my trad past." This is what she wrote in a Tumblr entry. "But to be honest, I've come to decide that the only acceptable style of poly is best characterized as something like an imperial Chinese harem." Many former associates of Bankman-Fried and people who worked at FTX were unsure how much work was actually ever accomplished there. Bankman-Fried apparently played League of Legends and was always terrible at this game. He was almost certainly really bad at it, according to many insiders, and he used to play this game while conducting at least one Zoom meeting with millions of dollars at stake, meaning his attention was never focused on the task at hand. So this guy wasn't particularly focused, wasn't really in control of his faculties at all. At a meeting, meanwhile, with Alameda employees, Miss Ellison explained what had contributed to the collapse. She apologized, saying that she'd let the group down. Over recent months, apparently, Alameda had taken out loans. It had used the money to make venture capital investments. Around the time the crypto market crashed in the spring, Miss Ellison explained, lenders moved to recall those loans, but the funds that Alameda had spent were no longer easily available, so the company used FTX customer funds to make the payments. Besides her and Mr. Bankman-Fried, she said, two other people knew about this arrangement. Those two people were Mr. Wang and Mr. Singh, shady characters involved in FTX. Why might SBF, though, be so insistent on intentionally oversizing his bets, constantly thinking that he'd be able to dig himself out of his current predicament by betting customers' money in the expectation of achieving a big return? Beyond any natural proclivity to risk-taking, he might have been taking dopaminergic drugs prescribed for Parkinson's disease, and these drugs are well known to cause risky behavior such as compulsive gambling and shopping sprees.
If you were to try describing the fund manager's life philosophy, as well as how FTX customer assets were managed by Bankman-Fried, words such as gambling, shopping sprees, and shafting would fit quite well. He gambled with other people's money to pay back loans, incurring huge losses. Shopping sprees included his sponsorship of the Miami Heat's home arena, which hilariously is still called the FTX Arena following the sponsorship deal, as managers scramble to rebrand so nobody knows about their venue's endorsement of global fraud. Also falling into the shopping spree category, let's not overlook SBF's generous payments to celebrities to secure their endorsements of FTX, including but not limited to Kevin O'Leary, Meet Kevin and various other Kevins, as well as Gisele Bundchen, Tom Brady, Shaq O'Neal and Steph Curry. He even tried to pay $100 million to Taylor Swift in exchange for introducing NFT-based ticketing at her concerts. Unsurprisingly, Swift, the daughter of several generations of bank presidents, was awake to the scam, and after her lawyers carried out the necessary due diligence, she showed no interest in SBF, unlike the violent rapist sharing his future jail cell. I'm joking. We all know he won't be jailed or face any consequences whatsoever for stealing countless billions and undermining confidence in financial institutions and the government. Heck, what would be the point in being friends with Bill Clinton if you can't get away with terrible crimes?
Dopaminergic medications for Parkinson's disease have long been associated with extreme risk-taking, such as in this study of pathological gambling in Parkinson's disease patients who were taking the medication. It's been known about for many years.
Be sure to stay tuned for future videos where we'll be exploring this topic in more detail. All the best. Have a great day.